please go look up Strive Career Resources. Which one is it listed under?
Career resources.
Look under Career Resources, and you're going to hear all about why it'd be a great idea to give them a donation now as we go in the home stretch. Well, welcome to Marcus Cherry, Devonna Lewis, and Kawan Dillard. Okay, Kewan Dillard. They're here from Career Resources, which is the parent group of what we all know as Strive, to tell us what they're up to and why it's such a great idea to help them out in the great game. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
Okay, getting it straight here. Did anyone bring a song or a poem?
So we did bring our resident star singer, Devonna Lewis, who's been known to grace our graduations with a wonderful song.
Ooh, okay, you ready?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
This is a song that I actually wrote for our August class. I had a lot of gentlemen in that class that were into music, and so now it's just become a part of our anthem. Okay. You don't know my story. You don't know my journey. You can't judge my decisions. You don't know my past. You can't measure my progress. You don't know where I've been, but I am here, standing strong. I am wiser. These things don't come easy. Oh no. These things don't come easy. I've been through ups and downs, been twisted all around. I even threw in the towel when it got hard. But I made a decision. I'm gonna stand my ground. Look at me, nothing's gonna stop me now. You can't judge my story. You don't know my journey. You can't judge my decisions. You don't know my past. You can't measure my progress. You don't know where I've been, but I am here, standing strong. I am wiser. These things don't come easy.
Whoa. That was terrific.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Devonna Lewis from Career Resources. Great job. I have to say, you win the prize at the WNHH Great Give Radiothon for the number 1, 2, and 3 best musical performance.
Wow. Okay,
That was
thank you.
fantastic.
Thank
You have a wonderful voice.
Thank
You do a
you.
lot of singing, obviously.
Since I was probably about 4 or 5.
Church choir.
Yes.
I definitely heard church. And what other kind of any other kind of singing, or just basically church singing?
Church, and I've been a part of a couple of community groups. I actually sung background for a local rap group, and my sister's an underground rapper, so
Ooh.
we've been busy
What
with the
rock
singing.
group? What rock group?
Well, they're no longer existing, but it was just something in the community that they put together.
I might have known him.
No, I don't.
You don't want to say? Okay. But Carmen Burgos wrote in. Thank you, Carmen, for watching so much of this, listening. She says, beautiful.
Oh,
On the
thank
singing,
you.
I'm going to triple that.
Thank
I think you have a lovely voice.
Thank you.
And what you were singing about was a personal journey a lot of people go through. So many people in New Haven, 25 people a week, are dropped off out of the criminal justice system, out of prison, and returned to the streets of New Haven, 1,000 or more a year. And then they need to rebuild their lives.
Absolutely.
And I think there is no more successful organization in our area to help people start rebuilding their lives than the one we're talking about right now, Career Resources and their program Strive.
I agree.
So maybe, Mr. Cherry, you could tell us for our
Sure.
listeners what exactly you do.
So, Career Resources is first and foremost a second chance organization. The program itself, called Strive, it focuses on helping individuals rebuild their own self-image by taking them through this self-discovery journey, where they have an opportunity to really dig deep and understand why their perceptions have developed to become what they are. And then we take them through this personal development phase where we have an opportunity to help them really build their professional self, what it means to be professional, what it means to communicate, what it means to critically think. And the third week of our program, which is probably our most successful component, is our opportunity to really make them work ready. We create a work simulated environment so individuals come into the program and understand what it means to get up every day and dress and look the part for work. And while they're in our space for job readiness, our goal is to simulate that environment. So each encounter that we go through, it's all about creating that teachable moment for individuals understand how to operate in today's workforce. Because our goal is when they leave, they are what we call strive ready.
And it's a 3-week program?
Yes, it is a
Are you
3-week
still on
program.
Chapel Street?
So we're no longer on Chapel
Oh,
Street. We're
sorry.
currently on Grand Avenue.
Grand Avenue, okay, right
Yes.
nearby. Now, don't you also have a component where they go out and do work in the community?
Absolutely.
Because I know trees get planted, for instance, by Stride Crews. We see them all over Rooster Square, Westville. I see you guys out there.
So Strive has definitely been known to do a lot of community work. We actually held a phenomenal activity last year where we took all the donations we had for our location and we went to the green and we literally gave them out to whether they were homeless individuals, whether they're just individuals looking for a shirt or a tie, and we just gave everything away for free because so many people oftentimes drop off or donate clothes.
Didn't you have a
Strive.
connection with the Elm City Market?
We
Wasn't
did,
that you
yes.
guys? So I remember once they had job openings, they hire a lot from your program.
Yes.
There are a lot of second chance people at the Elm City Market there at State and Chapel. They do a great job. And I remember going to once you were doing the interviews and you just sent a large group of people over. And I was talking to the folks who were lining up for the jobs. It was moving when you hear about their lives and how they're not blaming other people. You got them in a good space. They're not blaming other people for the problems that landed them in jail or substance abuse. And they really want to make it right. They want to work. They want to do it right. You've given them some tools, and it was very inspiring to seeing what you do. Why do you think now a lot of groups try to do this work? You've been around how many years?
Career Resources has been around 20 plus years. Strive as a program of Career Resources, we've been doing the work for a little over 15.
And why is it that you've been able to gain the trust of institutions that partner with you and give people the opportunities? Maybe you'd like to speak on that. What you do what's the secret sauce?
I think first.
Get a
and
little
fore-
closer, Mike.
oh, sorry. I think first and foremost, it's the relationship building. We place a strong emphasis on that. Oftentimes, partnerships fall apart because there's so much of a emphasis placed on delivering services and not maintaining the relationship. So whether it be with partners, but also with our participants, making sure that they feel like they're not just a number. We treat them on an individual basis and giving them the attention that they deserve.
So what goes? How do you reach someone? These are hard people to reach. A lot of people have been in their lives, the teachers, parents, other relatives, mentors. What enables you to connect to someone specifically? What goes through your mind when you're thinking about getting to someone else's mind?
Wow. We all have
What's working there when it
we all
hasn't
have
worked
a
other places?
testimony. We all have a testimony. We all have experiences. We've all been in a space where we wanted to give up and we needed someone that was there to say, you know what? There's life after this. There's redemption after this. You might have messed up, you might have fallen on hard times, but you can be reborn. And you need that. You need that encouragement. Sometimes you can't find it within. So being able to connect with someone and let them know, listen, I may not have walked through every step that you've been through, but we all have a testimony. We all have a journey, and we're still traveling that journey.
Can you tell me one of those testimonies? Not a name of a person, but just someone's story you've worked with more recently. One.
So we had one participant who recently got out of prison and really didn't have a lot of the basic job skills because he went in at a young age, and he's also a young father. So coming back home and not really having those skills, naturally he was lost and didn't know exactly what it was he wanted to do. So he was actually referred to Career Resources Strive, and he was an ideal fit for the program. I'm a program coordinator for, and it took some time. He was a high school dropout, so we had to basically start from square one with him. But again, going back to what I was talking about, the relationship building, talking to him constantly about, you're not your mistakes, and reiterating that, because a lot of his issues were based on that, like, I've been in prison, I'm a high school dropout, no one's gonna want to hire me. So we had to first break through that first to get that understanding, help build his confidence, help him identify what his strengths are, not so much focusing on what your weaknesses are, but what are your strengths, and promoting those, promoting himself. And he's actually, he went through our program, graduated, got an internship, and he's actually doing quite well in the program. He got hired.
Terrific.
He's actually has a
All right.
part-time job
You're
now,
doing God's work.
and we're looking to actually get him hired full-time. But that's just one example.
You keep track of a lot of people through the program. Like, how many come a year and how many stay in employment?
So throughout the year, across all of our programs, we probably work with around 300 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Around out of those 300 kids, we would say about 70% of them have been able to get placed,
Wow.
whether it's in employment or some kind of educational training or post-secondary education. But our retention rate, from a program standpoint, is about 90%,
Excellent. And you say kids. What kind of ages are we talking about?
18 to 24.
Who have been in the criminal justice system.
Yes.
All right, and we're talking about the reasons it would be a great idea right now to go to thegreatgive.org online with the word thegreatgive.org, and look up career resources, because you're hearing about the great work they do as a second chance agency for people who want to straighten out their lives and become productive members of society. It's the Great Give, folks. We're in the home stretch. We want to hit $2 million total for 406 community organizations, and one of them is right here, Career Resources and Strive. So if I could ask a few of you, maybe starting Mr. Dillard, what's your background? How'd you get involved with this work, and what do you do day to day?
Sure. So I'm new to the nonprofit sector. I come from government. I worked for the city of Hartford, specifically the Department of Development Services. And I was actually the special events coordinator for the city for almost 12 years.
Oh, fun.
So, the parades, park festivals, things like that, I was in charge of coordinating those events and getting them their permits and all that good stuff. And I was laid off in 2015.
Budget?
Yeah. And when you have a new mayor coming in, they tend to want their own people.
Right, you had
that
one of
they
those appointed
handpick.
positions, not
Yeah,
civil
and
service.
I was a
Yeah.
relic from an old administration. So
Were you the cigar administration?
yes, exactly.
Good man.
Yeah, he is. So I was a casualty of those layoffs. And I pretty much took the next year and a half just trying to figure out what was next for me. So I worked a lot of temp jobs, things of that nature. And then I just happened to go to church one day, and the pastor at the church was like, "Hey, your mom told me you're looking for employment. You know, there's this organization in Hartford. They're looking for somebody as a case manager." And I was like, "Well, I don't have a lot of experience with that." And he's like, "Hey, listen, try it out." So he connected with our vice president, Dr. William Clark, and sent him my resume. Dr. Clark liked what he saw in the resume, had me come in for an interview. I interviewed for that position, didn't get it actually. And then the program that I'm actually coordinating now, the grant, they were given a grant for that. So that created another position, and they brought me back for that one. I got hired for that, and I've been there ever since. It's been 9 months now.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
You look
I'm
like, it
enjoying
looks
it.
like you're in a good place.
Yes. I was, there's some trepidation in the beginning because
Sure.
it's new,
Yeah.
but I've made a lot of good friendships with my coworkers, and working with the kids. They can be a headache at times, but I love working with them. And just seeing the effect that not only what I'm able to do with them as far as counseling and case management, but just seeing what the program has done for them. It's I can't describe it. It's a
All
great
right.
feeling.
How about you, Ms. Lewis? How long you been doing this? What's your background? How'd you get in?
Well, outreaching itself has been a part of my life, basically. My family, that's all we do. And being in leadership in my church.
Did you
Of
grow up
course.
here?
In New Haven, yes.
What church were you going to?
I go to Empowerment Christian Church, 1192 Dixwell Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Come
Mhm.
check us out. Pastor Corey Salisbury. But before that, I mean, just, I've been working with youth first, and then my first real position as in human resources was the Sojourner House. extension of Columbus House. It's a sober house for women, and I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with working with the people because youth were my heart. Because working with youth when I was a youth and seeing their growth and just seeing the way they would adapt to certain things and learn certain. But once I walked into those doors, I was hooked. I was hooked working with that population, and now working with Strive. I mean, I call myself a Strive baby. My mother actually was one of the first Strive classes here in New Haven when it was over on House Street, part of the
What was she doing there?
She actually started out as a participant. She went through to better, single mom, CNA, working, hours and hours, wanted to better herself, and so she went through the program. Then she from participant to receptionist to you name it, and
Mm.
she ended at was a job developer retention specialist, and I came in taking over that position
Oh.
years later.
Oh, wow.
Years later.
Second generation.
Yes, and now I'm program coordinator for the Waterbury site,
All right.
and we actually work with the reentry population up there, 25 and up.
So how many cities are you in Connecticut?
We're in 6.
Six. Okay. And if I could ask you, Ms. Jerry, if you don't mind putting the mic right in front of you. And so if you
My
could tell-
apologies.
No, don't apologize at all. Thanks for telling us what's up. So, Mr. Cherry, what's your background? How'd you get involved? What are you doing day by day?
I guess the easiest way to explain my background is I'm so committed to Strive because I represent the individuals that Strive serves. Strive is known for working with second chance citizens, individuals who come home from prison and trying to actually do better, and I'm one of those individuals. I didn't come directly through the Strive program, but one very similar. And just through hard work, consistency, Career Resources gave me an opportunity to enter the nonprofit world. And to me, it was scary initially because you're working with individuals' lives. But I continuously go back to how I felt when I first came home from prison, and I use that as my motivation to continuously do
How
the work.
did you feel when you first came home from prison?
Lost, lonely.
How long had you been in?
7 years.
And what was it when you came out? What would the world look like? How
It
they
was-
looking at you? How are you looking at the world?
It was completely different. I felt like I was in a whole new space. Mostly because I had missed the technology phase where the whole touch screens was first introduced. So when I came home, initially I was used to filling out physical applications. Now I'm dealing with everything digitized. So it was a culture shock for me because I didn't necessarily know how to navigate the space. Once I connected with Career Resources, they understood my background. They understood the difficulties of working with someone who just came home from prison, but they were committed, and they gave me the uptraining that I needed to sustain. And I started out as a case manager for Career Resources, working with individuals from 14 to 24. But then I progressed to a program coordinator, and now, as I stand today, I'm program director of Strive Connecticut. So now I have an opportunity to connect with other locations and continue the work that Strive does statewide.
Nice going. And Corey Sorsberry writes in, "Yay, Strive, great work, Devana."
Cool.
You got fans.
That's my path.
So, second chance, long after you start doing this work, our state and our country have decided this work needs to happen on a big scale. What can we learn from your experience as many more groups are trying to enter the fray, not do exactly what you're doing, but address the problem from the state government, the criminal justice system trying to get people out of jail, into the community, to governments trying to deal with people coming in? What do they need to know based on what you've learned, giving people second chances?
I think it's important to remember that they're people. A lot of times people feel like they're defined by their experience and they lose that human to human connection. Just recognizing that you're standing in front of a person with a need. And our goal as a community is to lift that individual up to become more, to continuously do the work of the community. So just remembering that it's a person with ideas, with creativity, with thought, with passion, and you want to pour into that to continuously flourish it.
All right. Any final words from anybody?
I would like to say this. One of the things that I've realized in working with this population is that oftentimes we forget that just because they're 18 to 24, they're young adults. So we tend to forget that, they're still kids. A lot of them come from trauma. So there are certain aspects of their lives that are still, they're still growing in. And what I understood and what I'm continue to understand is that ultimately they're putting their trust in us, and that's something that you have to take into consideration at all times. So when a participant sends me a text that 1 a.m. and is like, hey, I really need to talk to you, I don't, my tendency is to respond to it rather than go, "Oh, I'll get back to him." If you're reaching out to me at 1 a.m., it's something you really need to talk about. So I'm always mindful about those things because I don't want to break that relationship that I've built. You want to have boundaries, but at the same time, you want to make sure that they understand that you're there for them. So, that's one thing I stress, like nurturing, continue to nurture that relationship because ultimately they are putting their trust in you. And these are people who have been let down, with previous relationships, and you don't want to be another disappointment.
All
So,
right. Ms. Little? I'm sorry, Ms. Lewis. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Ivana Lewis.
It's one thing I share when I conduct a workshop. We are all one bad decision away from having our freedom taken away. And if we keep that in the front of our minds when we are interacting with our participants, when you're actually talking to them and hearing their testimony, hearing their experiences, you don't know exactly what led them to their current situation. But again, everyone is always at that one point where you can make that one decision to where your freedom is taken away or you can remain free. And keeping that vivid, keeping that in the front of your mind will help you stay connected, will help you be relatable, will help you be in that position to where you're willing to help them because you're like, you know what? I would want someone to help me or to help someone that I'm connected to when they find them in this situation.
All right, let's all be connected. Let's all help. Let's all go to thegreatgive.org. And right now, look up career resources. Give them a little scratch to keep doing this great work you're doing on such a big scale and leading the way on one of the biggest challenges facing our society today with second chances. And you've been listening to the Great Give Radiothon. We're in the home stretch here. I want to thank Marcus Cherry, Devonna Lewis. Sorry if I got your name wrong. And Kwan Dillard.
Keywan.
God, sorry. Kwan Dillard.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
But anyway, you did a great job. You're doing a great job.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up. Keep up the singing.
Thanks.
And folks, we're going to listen to the Afro-Semitic Experience, doing it with Sente's an on-time God for a few minutes. And then we're going to be back to bring it home with Columbus House at WNHH FM, your home for community radio.